Danny Flexen for Seconds Out, here with Lucas Browne, head of your huge heavyweight showdown with Dillian Whyte on March 24th at the O2. How are you feeling?
Very good, mate. Very good. Thank you very much.
One thing I wanted to ask you about, I read your interview in Boxing News a few weeks ago with Terry Dooley. Excellent interview, very candid, very open, refreshing, in fact. You talked about how the fight out in Chechnya with Chagayev, best win of your career to that point, you felt cheated in the aftermath because of the drug test that you failed, which highly suspicious and remains so. I think the consensus is that, you weren't at fault.
Yeah.
Are you now concerned going forward? This is the first fight you've had overseas since. Does that concern you now every time you go away?
It's always in the back of your mind. It can never leave, I suppose. I think obviously it's much more controlled over here and less shenanigans is probably the best word to say. But yeah, I don't have too much concerns in that regards here, which is good. But it is always in the back of my mind for sure.
Never go to Russia again?
No, unfortunately not. No, not Chechnya. No.
Talking of that kind of thing, Whyte has obviously served a 2-year ban in the past for a drug failure due to an over-the-counter product, which you've got some experience of also. Although you and Whyte aren't particularly friendly, do you have some sympathy with him because you've got that shared kind of thing in the past that really wasn't your fault?
No, not really. No sympathy towards him at all, no. It was my stupidity, unfortunately, especially after the first incident in Chechnya. It was my stupidity just going to buy something off the counter. Obviously, the label didn't say it had anything in it, but that's my problem. So, yeah, my stupidity. It won't happen again. But this is the sort of position I find myself in, unfortunately.
How have things changed as a result of that? I imagine you're a lot more thorough now with checking things. And is that a great example then for the young fighters out there?
I think I should have been that in the first place. Unfortunately, I was a little bit, how you going with all that sort of stuff. So
you're not the first.
No, unfortunately not. And to be honest, it is a very broad sort of thing that you get done for as well, and constantly changing. So you can never really stay on top of it completely. You can do as best you can, and unfortunately, I wasn't doing the best I could, and I am since, for sure.
And we talked about it. You said about it's kind of a widespread thing at the moment. Obviously, Canelo in the news recently with contaminated, apparently, Mexican meat. Do you, in the past, I guess, a lot of fellow fighters would have said, oh, ban them, he's making it up, contaminated meat, don't buy that. Because of the experiences you've had, particularly in Chechnya, which, again, highly suspicious, do you have more sympathy for things like this when they come up in the news?
Unfortunately, I've looked into clenbuterol, as you can imagine, since my incident, and it is a stripping agent, like for weight. Now, Canelo got done for it exactly when it should be getting in your system, like in terms of losing weight, everything else. I had a blood and urine sample 3 days out from the fight and was completely clear. So for me to take it then would no benefit to my body whatsoever. In actual fact, it'd probably make it harder for me with the heart palpitations and things like that. So
and you don't have to make weight.
That's right, and I don't have to, of course, yeah. So for me, I'd been on a 12-week camp and was in the best shape of my life because it was a world title fight. Why not? I've had hair follicle sample tests done afterwards, and it wasn't in my system at all. So it was that one particular, very small instance. So whether it was meat that I was given on the night of the weigh-in, or I was doped, whatever. But for the fact that I did not need it at all. So for Canelo, I don't see it in the same light because he's actually, in time-wise, it's when he should be taking it to lose weight, and he does need to lose weight. So I'm just staying completely out of it in regards to that. So yeah.
Sure. And given the cloud that did hang over the Chagayev fight, this Whyte fight's obviously a huge fight for you. Would it be the biggest win of your career? Would it surpass the Chagayev night because of the aftermath?
I think so, yeah. I think it really sort of does project me back into the circles that I need to be back into. He has the #1 ranking for the WEC with that belt, as well as I think it's top 5 for the other ones, other sanctioning bodies. So for me, it does really put me back to where I need to be and where I think I should have been after the Chagayev fight. So that was, yes, it was a world title. It wasn't one of the big ones, but it was a world title. It was a stepping stone for me to get back into the bigger fights. I've sort of gone back to square one, and here we are again. So this will really this is exactly what I need at the moment.
Because of that, going back to square one and the incidents that have happened, do you feel there's kind of a consensus of public sympathy and people wanting you to succeed because of the things that have happened? Generally
in Australia, like the support through Australia has been absolutely sensational. You get obviously your naysayers here and there, but a good 95% have been behind me. Unfortunately, with the way social media is, people have the access to be able to abuse you whenever they like, and unfortunately, a lot of it's come from the UK. I do have a lot of support, don't get me wrong, but there has been a lot of abuse, and still is to this day a lot of abuse. I've actually given my Twitter to my manager because I just don't want to handle it anymore. But I think that's more of a cultural thing. Obviously, UK is very into their boxing, where Australia isn't as much, stuff like that. So it's just part of the parcel, unfortunately.
And just before I let you go, just want to ask a little bit about your brother Patrick, who didn't want to get on camera with us today. Very modest guy, which is great. Without Matt Clark, your manager, being here, he's stuck over in Australia, as he told us, helped set this up. How important has Patrick been to your preparations and organisation in the UK?
Sensational. He's really got on board from the Chechen fight onwards. I've been staying at his house when I'm in camp in Sydney and things like that as well. So we are close in regards to what's happening and what's been going on. He's got on board with Matt in regards to full management side of things as well, just helping out. And he'll be pivotal over here in regards to just organising things, so I don't have to stress about him. So very happy he's here. And
lastly, trainer Rodney Williams, also over here with you. You've worked with him for over 2 years now. What has he brought to the team that you weren't getting before?
As I said, I haven't had any amateurs, so a lot of that sort of early stuff that I never actually did is his forte as well. So he really does break down boxing the way it should be. Looking at people like Lomachenko and things like that in regards to foot movement and positioning and things like that. So heavyweights generally just stand there and throw punches at each other. Someone like Mike Tyson would have been a little bit more elusive because he had to. So it's just creating more opportunities for myself in regards to positioning and things like that, which I need that, of course. Well, good luck in creating an opportunity for yourself on the 24th of March. Thank you very much. Thanks, Lucas.